Why hello everybody, this is Tephrite here, bringing you another video, and today we are going to go over Season 4's Calamity update for Paladins. Today they're bringing in a new champion called Yagorath the Devourer, which as you can see on the screen, he's quite a beastie guy. The background gameplay that you're seeing right now is one of the only games I actually managed to have a Yagorath in my game, so hopefully you can kind of see what he does. I'm going to go briefly through his abilities and his kit, everything just now. So yeah, let's jump right into it. So as you can see, he's a frontline tank. He has 6.5k damage, which is the highest health pool out of any of the other tanks in the game right now. And he has quite a complex ability because he has two different forms. He has his travel form and his planted form. Each form changes what your abilities do, so I'm just going to quickly go through them. When you're in your planted form, your primary fire, which is your left click on PC, you spray acid from your maul, dealing 48 damage every 0.1 seconds. Hitting the ground leaves behind a pool of acid that lasts 4 seconds. So essentially, shooting some stuff, dealing damage, leaves a ground of acid that lasts for 4 seconds and also deals damage. We go to your alternate fire, which is your right click on PC. You fire out a piercing quill every 0.15 seconds, dealing 170 damage on hit and exploding for 50 damage in a small area shortly after. Hitting an enemy affected by acid spray will increase damage they take from all sources for 10 seconds, or for 10% for 10 seconds, has a maximum of 8 charges. Your first ability in planted form is hardening. Hunker down for up to 4 seconds, increasing your base damage reduction by 25%. After this ability ends, deal damage to enemies within 25 units based on the duration of the ability. Base damage is 300 and maximum damage is 1100. You cannot be stunned while this ability is active, can't be refired and cancelled early. You next have your ultimate Devour. You target an enemy to start pulling them to you, swapping your current health for a new 4000 health pool. Your target is immune to damage and crowd control and cannot move during this process, but can still fire their weapon at you. If your health pool is depleted before they are devoured, you drop your target, otherwise they are executed. Can only be used in planted form. This is part of the planted form. Next we're going to go into the travel form. When you're in travel form, your primary fire is Trail of Acid, which is drop a series of 5 acid pools behind you as you roll. So essentially you're in constant motion right here in your travel form. And your acid pools deal 33 damage every 0.25 seconds and slow the enemy affected by 15%. Your alternate fire is acceleration, so you charge forward for 4 seconds, hitting an enemy will deal 500 damage and apply a knockback which cannot be cancelled. Yeah, once again, keep rolling, smacking through everybody. And your first ability when you're in travel form is Primal Vision. Let out a series of 5 pulses that briefly reveal enemies within 150 units to yourself and your team. As you can see, he is quite a interesting kit. He's definitely a point tank, but definitely some things to consider with this. Here are his talents, which you can I will just briefly scroll through, just so you can get a small idea about what his stuff does. And now we go on to the new skins that have been added into the game. So obviously Yagorath has his own skins. You got the caustic skin, and then you got the Graveworm skin, which are on screen right now. And you also have the Golden Yagorath, which obviously when you hit level 50 you're going to get him. And now, new to this new season, we've got a new season pass. Season pass is your ticket to exclusive content for every new champion all year long. So instantly once you get the season pass, you're going to be granted a Soul Stealer Furious skin, which is kind of giving me some Sylvanas vibes from World of Warcraft. And on top of this, you're going to get the Golden Griffin mount, which you can see on screen right now. On top of these 2 skins, you're also going to get 1.5k crystals instantly and an additional 10% crystal anytime you purchase crystals throughout 2021. So you kind of get a little buff there too. Best of all, you get the following incredible content for every new champion as they release in 2021. So you get the Season Pass exclusive rare skin for every champion. All talents are instantly unlocked, which is great for ranked in my opinion. Additional uncommon skins, emotes, and the MVP pose. Also with this new patch we have the general commendations. You got a commendation loading frame, which kind of looks snazzy in my opinion. And also you got the new avatars and static sprays, which you can see on screen right now. And of course, we have the new additions to the Golden Crew. We got the Golden Terminus at level 50, and also we got the Golden Genos at level 50, which you can see on screen right now, which I'm kind of liking these golden skins, to be honest. We also have new chests. We have Tales of Heroism, we have Unbreakable, and we have Misdeeds and Mischief. They all have similar skins, which we have seen already. So nothing new in these chests, but just try your luck, I guess. That's all this is. And of course, with a new patch comes a new season. Season 4 ranked. Of course, Season 3 ranked ended yesterday. And now Season 4 ranked has started. So get your placements going, you know, get those 5 games in so you get your rank in. And yeah, good luck with that. We also have different rewards. If you play 100 games, you get a limited title. If you win 100 games, you get the good old Berserker Torvald skin. Torvald is once again a really high pick, kind of like a pick or ban kind of thing. So if you are looking into playing Torvald, got a new skin for you at the end of the season. If you know you win 100 ranked games, so you got to get dedicated a lot of time there. You've also, you know, got the usual loading frame awarded at the end of the season if you reach gold 5 or above. So it seems like, yeah, they're going with this whole active map, reserved map kind of play style. So Timbermill and Serpent Beach has been added to the active maps, and Shadow Desert and Fish Market have been taken out, it seems, and put into the reserved maps. So we can go through and read this. Each split maps will either be in the active or reserved map pool. Reserved maps will not appear while playing ranked during that split. Each new split will see some maps rotated between the active and reserved pools. For split 1, Timbermill and Serpent Beach will be rotating into the active map pool, while Fish Market and Shadow Desert will be rotating out. It seems to me that I used to be getting Fish Market almost every game. Fish Market and Slipstone Quarry especially. Those seem to be a very popular, at least for me in my ranked experience. So I'm glad Fish Market was taken out. Yeah, Shadow Desert has also been taken out. I've only played it a couple times, but yeah, these are the Season 3 ranked frames, which you're also going to get if you ended obviously above Gold 5 this season. So you've got Gold, Platinum, Diamond, Masters, and Grandmasters. In my opinion, I think the other loading frames have looked better. Like you can tell, like looking through Platinum and Diamond, there's barely any difference. It's just always small increments. I think they could do more with this, to be honest. I feel like Hi-Rez's art team is good enough to do more with these loading frames. No doubt the Challenger one looks... sorry, not Challenger, sorry, Grandmaster one looks extremely cool. But, you know, these loading frames, so which ones did you get, guys? Where did you guys place at the end of the season? Now we are on to the balance, the meat and potatoes of the patch. What we are here for, what we wanted to see being changed. So here we have the first balance is an item balance, which is in Wrecker. They increased the scaling of Wreckers, so it actually does more now. So it's trying to combat, I think, the overpowering, how overpowered tanks were. Or I wouldn't say overpowered, but how much they were played. The tank comps, like 2 tanks, 3 tanks. It was played quite a bit. I think Wrecker is trying to combat that, you know, try to combat against Makoa's shield, even though you're not really supposed to shoot Makoa's shield, but you know, every kind of shield. So you got Barrack shield, you know, all the Rom shield, or sorry, not Rom, Con. So, you know, also trying to get against Torvald, or constantly putting out those shields. So yeah, I think they're just trying to make Wrecker a more appealing buy, and I think they're kind of getting there. I am more inclined to buy Wrecker now. We're going straight into the champion balances, which is Androxus. That's what it starts with. And one of his cards is getting changed, actually. Increased ultimate charge gain has been increased from 4% to 6%. We have Ashe. Her cards, once again, got changed. Increased cooldown reduction, as I was mentioning earlier, from 0.5 to 0.8. Increased siege shield health scaling from 200 to 250. And increased health scaling from 120 to 150. So even though they have improved Wrecker, they are also improving or buffing the shield health scaling if they use that card, of course. We're going on to Atlas, another tank. Just his damage has been increased. You haven't seen too much Atlas being played. Obviously, it's more Makoa and Barrack, and you know, those two seem to be the most prominent tanks in my opinion. But yeah, we're trying to add more variety into the pool. By increasing Atlas's damage, making him a better off tank. Here we go, we have Barrack now. Reduced cooldown reduction of his charge from 3 seconds to 2 seconds. So actually this is a nerf to him. So his cooldown reduction of his Architectonics, I did say that correctly. Yeah, they nerfed it, so it doesn't come up as quickly. But they did also increase the damage of his shots. So he's less turret reliant, and now he's more shotgun reliant. So I think that's just a bit of a change to his playstyle. Maybe he's less annoying to flankers now, he's more annoying to tanks. Or it depends how you play Barrack, to be honest. If you're a flanker, if you're playing Barrack as an off tank, and you're just going around trying to annoy the healers and trying to annoy the DPS, then yeah, I think this is a lot of better. This will suit your playstyle a lot better. Next, we're going into Bomb King. Bomb King has got his cooldown reduction of his Grumpy Bombs increase from 0.6 to 0.8 seconds. Once again, reducing that cooldown reduction, or increasing that cooldown reduction, making it more viable. Also increased the heal after his Grumpy Bombs from 75 to 130, which is quite a substantial, almost doubled the health change there. And increased the duration of movement speed, which is increased by from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. So obviously this is another Bomb King buff. A lot of people have got buffs here. Not many nerfs in this patch, if I may say so. Cassie has also got some changes. Increased cooldown reduction from 0.8 to 1 second. So once again, increasing that cooldown reduction. And increased health, increased her heal, sorry, from 40 to 75 health, which is almost double once again. And yeah, making her more viable too. I think she was already an okay pick, but yeah, this has definitely bumped her up the tier list. I will be making a tier list video, by the way, coming soon. So stick around for that if you wanna see who to play in ranked, who's gonna get you the best opportunity. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. Links are all up there. And yeah, let's get on with the rest of the video. Next, we have Corvus, first healer change. His ability Entropic Breach now damages pets and illusions, which it's just a quality of life change in my opinion. It's not that important. I guess you can it refers to destroying Luna and destroying turrets, but and also destroying Ying, or Ying's clones. Talents have been changed also, once again increasing cooldown reduction from 10 to 15%. So once again we're attacking that cooldown reduction, and also increasing the healing received from 50 to 75. That's a pretty good buff. Increases damage also from 600 to 800, and increased healing reduction on marked targets from 15 to 20%. Now, in my opinion, Corvus was already pretty decent in the hands of a really good player. Corvus can be very deadly, but of course there are better picks in my opinion. There was Io, who was a really good pick. Ceres was also a good pick. Genos was also a really good pick. So I guess they're trying to just put him in there and trying to make him compete, I guess. So I think later on you'll see that Io gets nerfed, so Io gets brought down a bit and Corvus gets pushed up a bit, so they're trying to balance them out there. Ceres gets changed a bit. Up to you to see if you actually think it's a nerf or a buff, but we'll go into that later on. Corvus's cards have also been changed here. Increased cooldown reduction from the enemy hit from 0.2 to 0.5, once again hitting that cooldown reduction. Increased damage reduction, so he's making it more tanky from 3% to 5%. And increased active time of damage reduction 0.3% to 0.8%. Now we know that his ult was a bit shaky. Nobody really was that comfortable using his ultimate. They felt they were too vulnerable in it, even though you do have that damage reduction when you're using it. But these cards do help that combat that, so give him more survivability, which I think is really good for Corvus. Next, we're going to go into Drogos. His internal cooldown has been reduced from 30 seconds to 15 seconds. And that's of his thrust, of course, and a booster consumption reduction 10% to 15%. Yeah, once again we're just balancing out Drogos a bit. And has a really good player. I think he can be quite deadly, but it just matters if you manage to land your shots, But I guess that goes for all characters. Next we're going to Furia. Furia, one of the healers which has a really good CC potential, but not played too much in my opinion. Maybe they're trying to get her more playtime, especially with this new skin coming out, which I think will get a lot of people more interested in her. One of her talents has been changed, now increases the damage per tick players under Pyre Strike take from 20 every 0.05 seconds to 40 every 0.05 seconds. So they have double that damage, which I think is a pretty decent change. Nothing too major. They just made her deal more damage essentially. They've also changed her cards. Pyre, once again to do with Pyre Strike, increased Wrath regeneration from 10% to 15%, and Light Forge has been changed. Kindle Soul has been changed. Reduced internal cooldown from 20 seconds to 15 seconds. Once again, getting that CDR. Imani, the abilities Frost Bomb has now been changed. Reduced cooldown reduced cooldown from 18 seconds to 15 seconds, and Inferno Cannon reduced cooldown 18 seconds to 15 seconds. I think Amoni was already a decent pick. She did quite a lot of damage. Reducing her cooldown will also make her, you know, more of a consistent damage dealer. I think if you were to look at other damage dealers like Victor or even Cassia or Tyra, they have more consistent damage, and I think they're just trying to get Imani there as opposed to having more burst damage, which is more, I guess, of a flanker role. They're trying to give her more consistent damage, which I think is a good idea. In Nara here, we're increasing the shields of Impasse, or Impasse, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, from 75 to 125, so making her more tanky than she already was. Obviously, she doesn't have a shield. She does have the wall though, but I think having her own shield buffed a bit is not a bad idea. And now we have IO change. IO is one of the characters that always got banned last season, actually, in my opinion, either banned or picked. So as you can see here, we've reduced the damage reduction from 50% to 10%. So we've nerfed that damage reduction that the talent gives. And the abilities have also been changed. Now, we found out that a lot of the time when playing with an IO, everybody would just push up after capping the point. She would leave Luna on the payload, and you would just fire at them in spawn, not let them come out of spawn, whilst the cart moves behind you. And obviously they found that this was just not a fair game mechanic, so they made sure that Luna can no longer capture objective points or push the siege cart, which I think is a really good change. I feel like you have to be a player to capture the point. Yeah. Reduce the initial deploy cooldown 18 seconds to 16 seconds, and reduce the redeploy cooldown 8 seconds to 6 seconds. So although Luna cannot be used in this way, they have also changed this so you can use her more frequently. This is also obviously if people are focusing Luna and killing her. Kinessa has also been changed, and she has been buffed. Reduce the time limit for bonus damage from 7 seconds to 4 seconds. This is a huge change for Kinessa, and I think she's going to be seeing a lot more play now. For the 4 seconds to get a fully charged up sniper shot is insane. 7 seconds was quite a pushing it. 4 seconds I think is a more balanced time. I think any less than that she would have been too good. I should be basically to be able to quick scope people if I'm honest. So I think 4 seconds is pretty good. They've countered that by reducing the additional damage increase from 30 to 20%. So even though she's not dealing as much damage, she's doing it more frequently, and I think that's more important. Especially since snipers, especially if there are flankers in the enemy team, you're just getting focused 24/7. So being able to get in those quick shots once you're being chased around by a flanker, I think is very vital. Koga has been changed too. He has been buffed though. Increased damage to targets from 115 to 125%, and increased bonus movement from 15 to 25%, so he's been faster and stronger, and his ult charge rate has been increased by 15%, which I think is just an all-around buff to Koga. But this is only to Blood Reaper, so I think this is trying to make Koga more viable in different ways. People were always using his first talent, which buffs his guns. I can't remember exactly what the talent was called, but I think they're trying to bring out more ways to play Koga instead of just locking him in with this gun play style and just ignoring his claws. Next we have Lex. It's just a quality of life change. His magnums can now be held down to fire. This is just, I guess, for new players, instead of, because obviously more experienced players already know the fire rates of all these weapons, so just having the ability to hold it down, it just makes it easier for newer players to not miss out on DPS. Next change was to Liane. Precision increased total stacks from 4 to 5. This is one of her talents, so this is a slight nerf actually to her. So yeah, moving on to Makoa. We have the Leviathan talent, which has been changed. Increase ult charge rate from 15% to 25%. I think this is because everybody was using the same talent for Makoa once again, so we're trying to get some more diversity into this. I don't think Makoa needed a buff, in my opinion, and I don't think this is a buff. I think this is just a different way to play him. To change the playstyle, make him essentially more of a solo carry as opposed to help your team carry, because he is currently played, even though his hook is just deadly. His hook is deadly. We're next moving into Maldamba. Has had a lot changed actually. Maldamba increases healing per second from 325 to 340, which is just a flat out change, which I think was just trying to make him compete better with all the other healers who were just insanely good at this time. Increasing the cooldown reduction made by this card to Gourd from 0.5 to 0.8. Once again, hitting the CDR. Increased lifesteal granted to allies from 6% to 8%. Increased heal from 75 to 90. And Slither, using Slither, increased your movement speed by 8 for 3 seconds. So this is a new kind of talent we're seeing. And Snake Pit increased movement from 2% to 4%. So I think that's an all-around buff to Maldamba. Just try to keep him up with all the other healers. Next up we have Moji. His snack attack. This is not really much of a change. Increased health of pickup from 600 to 900. I think this is more of just a slight buff to Moji. You know, it's not too much, but it's something. It's something. Next up we have Pip. Increased bonus healing from 110 to 115 with his Mega Potion. I think Pip does need a bit of a buff. He does have really good survivability in my opinion, but I think more could be done to Pip to make him up there with his with the other healers. Next up we have Rom. Reduced damage reduction while using Juggernaut from 50% to 40%. So they've actually nerfed that talent, which could sometimes make Rom lost forever. We'll see if this is enough. I think his survivability sometimes can be extremely insane, but obviously he suffers damage from it. So they've also changed his Soul Harvest card. Reduce additional healing from Soul Harvest from 20 to 15. So there's another nerf to his survivability on his own, which made him essentially unkillable at times. Next up, they changed Ruckus. They changed one of his talents, increased shielding from 1000 to 1300. I think this is a good change. He is obviously, after all, a tank, so I think having shielding is quite important for him. It's the same kind of shielding as you would have with Torvald. I think this is a good idea. The ability's emitter has been changed, increased duration of shield from 3.5 to 4 seconds, which I think is also a good change. Making your shield last longer, of course. And his card's been changed, so now he heals for each player hit with his missile launcher, which is insane. Reduced healing from 100 to 60, and increased ammo generation from 5 to 10. So overall, a pretty good buff to Ruckus. I think he's going to be seeing a lot more play now. As I said earlier, Ceres has also been changed. Her mortal reach with talent time between healing ticks is 17 to 25%. This has obviously reduced her burst healing specialties, but I think she's still good. Obviously there are more abilities that have been changed. Increased healing granted to adjacent allies from 40 to 60. Reduced cooldown from 14 to 12 of shadow travel, and for Rend Soul, reduced cooldown from 10 to 5. Reduced damage from 100 to 60, and reduced healing from 15 to 8. So I think overall you can see that there's been a nerf to her healing, but has also been a buff to her damage and her survivability. Our cards have also been changed. Increased the duration of movement speed from 3 to 4. Decreased cooldown reduction from 0.5 to 0.4. Increased cooldown reduction from 0.6 to 0.8. And increased ultimate charge rate from 5 to 7. So overall, I think those all count as a buff, except for obviously the decreased cooldown reduction, which surprisingly, I think she's the only character who has had a decrease in her cooldown reduction, as opposed to everybody having an increase in their cooldown reduction. Next up, we have Terminus. Increase the threshold from 40 to 50%. I think that's a nerf in my opinion. Yeah. No, that's pretty much it. Let's have happened to Terminus. Tiberius increased damage from 700 to 900. I don't think Tiberius actually needed a damage buff. I feel like his burst damage is already pretty good, but I guess if you're trying to be on par with other kind of assassins like Eevee or Maeve, or even Koga with his I'm gonna call them scythes. I can't remember what they're actually called. Yeah, they're trying to keep them on par. But yeah, let's see. I guess yeah. Torvald, as Thanks Scarpa, has also been nerfed. Reduced shielding from 500 to 300. Torvald was one of those characters that was almost always a ban or pick. So nerfing his shielding I think was a good idea. Thanks Grandpa was also the first talent you would get, so I thought that was probably pretty good. Willow has also been changed. Increased damage from 500 to 650. His cards increases healing from 65 to 75. With regards to Dead Zone, these are all to Dead Zone. Increased movement speed from 5 to 8. Increased duration of movement speed from 2.5 to 3. And increases duration of Dead Zone 0.5 to 0.6 seconds. And those are all the changes actually. So I think there have also been some bug changes. Fixed an issue where a Mighty Dragon could hit enemies with Frost Fire Breath through thin walls. Aldama also had some fixes. Fixed an issue where the Otherworldly card did not function properly, and fixed an issue where the Venomous Gourd card did not provide lifesteal to allies who were standing in the Gourd's volume. There's some VFX changes that have been fixed too. There have also been changes to the PTS, as you can see here, but I'm not going to be going over the PTS changes just simply because the PTS changes and they're not going to live yet, so I don't think they're as important. If you want to play on the PTS and try them out, go for it, but I'm not going to be going through them just because I feel like they're not part of the main patch and they're subject to change at any second. So yeah, that's basically all the patch. That's all Hi-Rez has for us on this fine patch Season 4 Calamity update. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please let me know, who do you think is going to be your top picks and top bans of this patch and this season. I think not much has changed, to be honest. I'm still going to be banning the same kind of characters. But yeah, we'll just see how things play out, I guess, huh? So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around. Hit the subscribe button and the bell, of course. Like button if you want to see more of these. I do also stream on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5:30 GMT. So feel free to come around and say hi. Yeah, all my socials and everything's in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.